Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series, and today's quest is Into the Pit, which is the first scenario in the Khazad-dûm Deluxe expansion. I'm really excited to be moving on past the initial cycle of the game, the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle, and now we are moving into the second cycle in the game, the Dwaro Delph cycle, and Khazad-dûm kicks it off. The way the game's structured, there are 9 total official original cycles. So we're not talking about nightmares or the saga quests, but just the individual sort of 9 seasons, if you will, of the game. And so it always would be a deluxe product that would, like the core set, that has 3 scenarios followed by 6 adventure packs. So each cycle is going to be 9 scenarios in length. And this one's going to take us to a new locale. We'll be in Moria and in the Misty Mountains, even Rivendell. So a whole new feel to this cycle. So a quick reminder that in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck Pit Stoppers, and for the first time in my channel I'm using Thalin from the core set. He's a tactics hero, dwarf warrior traded, 9 threat, 1 willpower, 2 attack, 2 defense, 4 health. And this text is why we are using him. While Thalin is committed to a quest, deal 1 damage to each enemy as it is revealed by the encounter deck. So in some quests that is a really great, it's not a response, but it's a really great, trait. I don't know how I'd say text on his card. Can't think of the word that I would want to use. So he's really good in this quest, and so we are going to use him a good bit through the Dwaro Delph cycle, but also for the third cycle in the game, the Against the Shadow. He makes quite a few appearances for us. Well, let's get to the quest and see how we do. Opening hand, I like that I have Song of Kings already, and Sneak Attack. This is good. I'll stick with this opening hand. Also, an Unexpected Courage. That's a really good one. All right, so entering the mines, 1A, you have been sent by the White Council to Moria to deliver a message to Balin and his dwarven colony. No one has heard from him in a while. For setup, we search the encounter deck for East Gate and Cave Torch, and we put East Gate into play as the active location and have the first player attach Cave Torch to a hero of his choice. Then set aside First Hall and Bridge of Khazad-dûm out of play and shuffle the encounter deck. So here are those 2 locations out of play, First Hall and Bridge of Khazad-dûm. They'll come into play momentarily. So let's look at the 2 cards that are in play. Eastgate is the active location. We have to make 7 progress to clear it. It is immune to player card effects, or just to card effects it actually says. And we're going to exploit this text here. Players cannot optionally engage enemies, and no engagement checks are made. That's not true only if it's the active location. So if Dreadful Gap came out, this would still it would still apply. So when we get to the encounter phase during the optional engagement, we can't optionally engage anybody, and during engagement checks, no enemy will engage us. So what that means is that enemies will be languishing in the staging area, and we're going to take advantage of that. There's one exception. There is a card called Goblin Follower, and he's kind of my least favorite card in this particular encounter deck. When revealed, Goblin Follower engages the last player, and there are quite a few of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we are the last player in solo. So if that comes out, we don't have Test of Will. That can be a little bit of a bummer, but we can deal with him. Is the hope. All right, when Eastgate leaves play, we will add the First Hall to the staging area. Okay, let's look at Cave Torch. And this says attached to a hero restricted. This tells us during setup to actually attach it to a hero of our choice. So we'll attach Cave Torch, and let's look at this action. Exhaust Cave Torch to place up to 3 progress tokens on a dark location. So all these locations generally are dark. And so if we want to, we can, once a round, exhaust Cave Torch, place 3 progress tokens on any dark location in play. But at the cost of this forced effect, after Cave Torch exhausts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is an enemy, add it to the staging area. There's also a card in this deck called Burning Low, And so this is the only other time where the Cave Torch can exhaust. It says you may exhaust Cave Torch to cancel this effect. And so this force effect is not necessarily attached to the action. It's just any time it exhausts. So that would include burning low. But what we'll do is we'll try to use Denethor and like Hindamarth and Unexpected Courage and all that to make sure that the card being discarded when we use Cave Torch is not an enemy. And I love the theme of Cave Torch. You're in Khazad-dûm. It's really dark. You have a dark location. You thrust the torch into that dark corner of the mines, and you explore it. But maybe hiding in the shadows is an orc that'll jump out and not engage us. It would actually be added to the staging area. But really cool card and very helpful in this quest. I also want to say thematically, this one's really cool. Eastgate. It's the active location. Until we explore it, it says players cannot optionally engage enemies. And I think why thematically is the orcs won't come out into the sunlight. And so they're inside the gate waiting to waylay some hapless adventurer. And, if we take our time, they just continue to build up. And then once we explore Eastgate, suddenly we have our hands full. So a really cool theme between these two cards. So kudos to the design team. All right, let's look at 1B. We have to make 7 progress to advance. Additionally, at the bottom of the card, it also says you can't advance unless the Bridge of Khazad-dûm is in our victory display. So again, we'll have to sort of progressively get rid of Eastgate, First Hall, and Bridge of Khazad-dûm. All right, so the doors of the Eastgate hang crooked on their hinges. The darkness inside the doorway is still and impenetrable, shutting out the last beams of a sinking sun. That is some really cool art there. All right, when revealed, reveal 1 encounter card per player and add it to the staging area. And there are a few cards we don't want to see. Let's see which one it is. It is Crumbling Ruin. I don't like Crumbling Ruin. When revealed, each player must exhaust a character and discard the top card of his deck if able. If the printed cost of the discarded card is equal to or higher than the remaining hit points of the exhausted character, discard the exhausted character. All right, so I have a choice here. I'd like to exhaust Éowyn, but if we were to look at our deck, we have a few Rivendell Minstrels. They cost 3. That would mean Éowyn would be discarded. And then we have Gandalf. We have Galadrim's Greeting, so I think we need to exhaust Thalin. Let's exhaust Thalin, and we're just hoping it's not Gandalf. We discard the top card of our deck, and it's Gléowine. Its cost is 2. The hit points remaining on Thalin is 4, and so he is not discarded from play. So, I don't love that Thalin is exhausted because we want to use his... it's not a response. We want to use his... It's not an action. What is this? Oh, well, I should have thought about that maybe before I recorded. Okay, so that's it for setup. Resource phase. And let's go ahead and use Denethor's action during the planning phase. Exhaust Denethor to look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may move that card to the bottom of the deck. Let's see what it is. Sigil Mineshaft. That's good. And, if it was an enemy or if it was something we buried and we were sort of questing blind, I was going to go ahead and put Song of Kings out, and we could have sneak attacked Gandalf in if needed. But what we're going to do is just quest with Éowyn, and we reveal Sigil Mineshaft, and I'll be unsuccessful in the quest, and my threat's going to go up by 1. And I think I'll just let that happen. Okay, so my threat goes up by 1. And this is a dark location, but I don't want to use Cave Torch because I don't know if this is an enemy. I don't want to just trade out Sigil Mineshaft for an enemy. We're going to refresh and move on to the next round. Okay, let's use Denethor's action during planning. Another Sigil Mineshaft, okay. And I'm going to spend these 2 spirit resources to put Unexpected Courage onto Denethor and ready him. Let's go ahead and spend a resource from Thalin's pool to put out Song of Kings. And we're going to quest with Thalon and Eowyn. And before we actually commit Thalon and Eowyn, let's go ahead and play sneak attack and draw 3 cards. And now we're going to quest with Gandalf, Eowyn, and Thalon. And we're going to reveal Sigil Mineshaft. And again, our threat's going to go up by 1 unless we do something about this. So what I'm going to do actually is, we're in staging here. We've just revealed a card. And so there is an action window before quest resolution. I'm going to take this action, raise each player's threat by 1 to place 1 progress token on Sigil Mineshaft. So let's... Okay, we're in an action window here. Before we do that, actually, let's exhaust Denethor to look at the top card. Okay, so what we're going to actually do during this action window, before resolving the quest, I'm going to exhaust Cave Torch to put up to 3 progress tokens on a location. And now I discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it was an enemy, I'd add it to the staging area. It's not. And now I'm going to take this action, raise each player's threat by 1 to place 1 progress token on Sigil Mineshaft. So I just raised my threat by 2, and I cleared Sigil Mineshaft, and I made 4. Now that we're at quest resolution, I've quested successfully, and now I place progress. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's good to have some progress on Eastgate because there's a card called Cave In that wants to remove progress from the active location. And if it doesn't, then it surges. And so, it's kind of a free round if it comes out next round. Okay, at the end of questing, Gandalf will come back to our hand because we sneak attacked him in. All right, we're going to refresh and move on to round 3. Let's use Denethor's action, and it is an enemy. Let's go ahead and put Gleowine out and draw a card. Let's ready Denethor. And I'm going to go ahead and put Hinnemarth into play. It's good to have a resource on Denethor so that at any given point, if you happen to get a Watchful Eyes, you could afford to play Miner of the Iron Hills. But now that I have a couple of Unexpected Courages, I'm not really worried about Watchful Eyes. Okay, we are going to just quest with Thalon and Eowyn. And we'll also... No, I'm not really worried about my threat. Let's quest with Goblin Swordsman. We were unsuccessful in the quest, but actually, I forgot to mention this. It's not the response, it's not the action, it's the whatever it is. It's text. While Thalon is committed to a quest, deal 1 damage to each enemy as it is revealed by the encounter deck. And so, not progress, deal 1 damage. So he was revealed. If he was added and not revealed, it wouldn't work, but he was revealed, like any card in staging. So he's damaged for 1 by Thalon. And we were unsuccessful in the quest. Our threat goes up by 1. And now during travel, nowhere to go, during the encounter phase, I can't optionally engage him, and he will not make engagement checks, so he just stays in staging, even though he would, at a 20 engagement cost, want to engage us. So now, just during the encounter phase, during one of these actions, I'm going to use Denethor's action to look at the top card as Goblin Follower. I will move that to the bottom of the deck. Can't use Denethor's action again, but I can exhaust Hinnemarth to look at the top card of the encounter deck. It is Goblin Tunnels. Okay, refresh, and next round. Let's draw a card with Gleowine. And we will once again put a Unexpected Courage onto Denethor. I don't mind Goblin Tunnels coming into play. I kind of like dark locations. I want to add them rather than enemies at this point. So I'm going to quest with Eowyn and Thalon. And with... Yeah, I'm not really worried about my threat again. We're going to just quest with those 2 characters. I guess we'll send Hinnemarth just to keep our threat a little bit lower, because now we have 2 Unexpected Courages. Okay, we revealed Goblin Tunnels. It does have this forced effect. After a goblin is revealed, this is true if it's in the staging area. After a goblin is revealed from the encounter deck, remove a progress token from the current quest card. There aren't any, and there won't be for a little while, so it's not going to matter. But I was unsuccessful in the quest. If I want to, I can pitch a card using Eowyn's action. Don't want to do that. I'll just raise my threat by 2. And now I'm going to use Denethor's action. Okay, it's Cave In. I like Cave In. I'm just going to leave it there. Refresh next round. Okay, good. Some Steward of Gondor action here. We're going to use, because of Song of Kings, Thalon has a leadership resource icon, so he's going to pay for Steward of Gondor. We're going to exhaust it, put it on Eowyn and start giving her resources. We'll draw a card with Glaewine. And I'm going to play an Ancient Matham onto Sigil Mineshaft. And I'm going to go ahead and take this action, this Sigil Mineshaft action, and do it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And raise my threat by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's explored, and I draw 3 cards because of Ancient Matham. Very good. We'll quest with Thalon and Eowyn. And that's it. We're going to reveal Cave In. When revealed, remove all progress tokens from the current quest card and active location. We'll do that right now. It says if Cave In, remove no progress tokens, it gains Surge. So that's why you always want to have a couple of progress tokens on Eastgate while you're doing this turtling piece. Okay, so 2 progress made on the quest. And now we'll use Denethor's action to reveal Watchful Eyes. Rather than burying it, let me just exhaust Cave Torch to place 3 progress tokens on a dark location. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. It's not an enemy, so no enemy added to the staging area. We're going to keep ready in Denethor and do his action. Goblin Swordsman is great. Refresh. Next round. Okay, we'll draw a card with Glaewine. Let's go ahead and play Galadrin Greeting. Well, not yet. We'll wait. Okay, we know what's coming, and it's just Goblin Swordsman. We're just setting up our board. I'm going to go ahead and pay for this Gondorian Spearman and get 1 out and play. Actually, not yet. I'll wait. We're going to quest just with Thalon and Eowyn. And we reveal Goblin Swordsman. He's damaged by Thalon. And we made 1 progress on the East Gate. Okay, let's look at what's on top of the deck with Denethor using his action. I don't really want to bury Goblin Swordsman. Refresh. Next round. Draw a card with Glaewine. Let's go ahead and play this Dwarven Tomb to grab an Ancient Matham. And grab it and put it back in our hand. We'll put that Ancient Matham onto Goblin Tunnels. And we're going to quest with Thalon and Eowyn. And reveal Goblin Swordsman. He's damaged by Thalon. No progress made. And now we'll use Denethor's action to bury Patrol Leader. Ready him and do it again. Dreadful Gap. So we will now exhaust Cave Torch to put 3 progress tokens on this dark location, discarding the top card of the encounter deck. It's not an enemy, so it's just discarded. We'll ready Denethor and do his action again. We'll bury Patrol Leader. Hinamarth will look at what's coming next. It's Lightless Passage. Very good. Refresh. Next round. Why didn't it go to the next round? There we go. All right, good. We will exhaust Steward of Gondor. Let's put this Ancient Matham onto Goblin Tunnels. Let's exhaust Cave Torch to place 3 progress tokens on a dark location. Goblin Tunnels leaves play. When it does, we draw 6 cards because we had 2 Ancient Mathams. And we will now discard the top card of the encounter deck because of this forced effect on Cave Torch. It's not an enemy. Let's draw a card with Gleowine. Let's use Denethor's action just to make sure we like what's coming next. We don't. We'll ready him and do it again. I don't mind this because I can just play Test of Will. There's no reason to bury this particularly. All right, let's go ahead and put out 2 of these Gondorian Spearmen. We'll have one more to play before everything's over here. Let's go ahead and put this last Unexpected Courage onto Denethor. We're going to ready him. Let's go ahead and play Gandalf and draw 3 cards. Just for card draw, really. And we're going to quest with, let's see who we'll quest with. Just Eowyn, I guess. Yeah, Eowyn's enough. Okay, we're going to reveal Dark and Dreadful, and I'll just cancel that with Test of Will. And we made 1 progress on the current quest. We're at 4. And I'm just, again, I can't optionally engage and all that, and I'm just kind of setting things up. Let's look at what's coming with Denethor. Another Goblin Swordsman. We'll refresh, and at the end of the round, Gandalf is discarded from play. Next round. Okay, we'll move on pretty quickly. I was just going to wait and get all 3 Gondorian Spearmen online. So next round, we'll move on. Drawing a card with Gleowine. Let's play a Rivendell Minstrel from our hand. When we play her from our hand, we can search our deck for a song card and add it to hand. I think we have one more. Yes, Song of Kings is a song card. All right. We want to quest with Thalin and Eowyn, and that's enough. We'll reveal Goblin Swordsman. He's damaged by Thalin. We made 1 progress. And now we're going to use Denethor's action to reveal Goblin Scout. We'll move that to the bottom of the deck. And use Denethor's action again. Burning Low. Yeah, we'll just leave that there. Refresh next round. Drawing a card with Gleowine. I think I'm going to wait 1 more round, just 1 more, before we move on. Our threat's at 46, not worried about that. Let's play this Gondorian Spearman. And let's go ahead and put a Song of Kings onto Eowyn. I don't want to have to use Thalin for sneak attacks anymore. We'll put a West Road Traveler into play. All right, we're going to quest with Eowyn, Thalin, Rivendell Minstrel, and West Road Traveler. Let's actually not commit Thalin. No, we will. We'll commit Thalin. Yep. Okay, Burning Low. When revealed, each enemy and location currently in the staging area gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. So that's going to be 4 because there are 4 enemies. If one of the cards was a dark location, that card would get +3 instead of +1. And then it says players may exhaust a Cave Torch to cancel this effect. I don't want to do that because of the forced effect. I made 1 progress, and I didn't quite clear Eastgate. Okay, let's use Denethor's action just to set ourselves up for success here. Definitely not that guy. Okay, Lightless Passage is good. We'll refresh next round. All right. We'll draw a card with Gleowine. Getting pretty close to the end of our hand here. Okay, we're going to move on. Let's go ahead and play these 2 West Road Travelers. We'll make plenty of progress that way. And I'm actually going to play Shadow of the Past to move the top card of the encountered discard pile to the top of the encountered deck. So I'll just move this card, this Burning Low, onto the top of the encounter deck. And now I'm going to quest and make plenty of progress. We're going to reveal Burning Low. It boosts each enemy by 1 threat. And we still made 5 progress. So 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Eastgate leaves play. Because it leaves play, this text no longer exists. Players cannot optionally engage enemies, and no engagement checks are made. Not true anymore. That goes to the victory display, and it says forced after Eastgate leaves play as an explored location. Add First Hall to the staging area. So here is First Hall. And I didn't remember or think about the fact that I can't travel here. I'll have to raise my threat by 3. I'll have to wait around. Whoopsie. All right, so don't want to travel there, but all 4 of these Goblin Swordsmen are going to engage us. And they're going to get shadow cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to defend 3 of these attacks with Gondorian Spearman. Response: after Gondorian Spearman is declared as a defender, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So the way it works is, the attacking enemy attacks. The framework is you choose an enemy to attack, then you choose a defender and exhaust him. And there's an action window and all that. But this response is after Gondorian Spearman is declared as a defender and exhausts, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So that means that it never reveals a shadow card, it just dies. Same thing with Goblin Swordsman number 2, and same thing with Goblin Swordsman number 3. And then I'll play a feint to cancel the attack of this Goblin Swordsman. And I won't worry about attacking him back. Let's use Denethor's action to just make sure we like what the encounter deck is going to deal. Cave in. That's good. All right, so at the end of combat, we'll discard this shadow card, refresh, and move on to the next round. Let's play this Rivendell Minstrel. We'll draw a card with Glaiwine. And let's go ahead now and play a Galadrim's Greeting, lowering our threat by 6. Okay, we will just quest. Okay, we reveal Cave-In, and it removes all progress from the current quest, and so it does not surge. And now we made 13 progress. And we'll travel here. To do so, we have to raise our threat by 3. And now Goblin Swordsman is going to attack, and we'll defend with Gondorian Spearman, and he just dies. Okay, Denethor will use his action. Sigil Mineshaft is good. Refresh. Next round. Okay, we will play another Galadrim's Greeting. 1, 2, 3. Lowering our threat to 40. All right, we're going to quest again with pretty much everybody here. And we reveal Sigil Mineshaft. We made 10 progress, so 8 on the current quest. We're at 21. And First Hall leaves play. When it does, we add Bridge of Khazad-dûm to the victory display, or we add Bridge of Khazad-dûm to the staging area. Okay, so now I have a choice during travel. I can go to one of 2 locations. I'm going to travel to Bridge of Khazad-dûm. We'll have to keep in mind, though, that while Bridge of Khazad-dûm is the active location, players cannot play cards, so no cards can be played from our hand until this is cleared. Okay, let's use Denethor's action to just make sure we like what is coming. Goblin Scout's great. Refresh. Next round. Can't play cards from our hand. because Bridge of Khazad-dûm is the active location. But we can take actions. All right. We'll just quest as we've been doing. And we reveal Goblin Scout. He's damaged. We made 7 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or sorry, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. At least play. It goes to the victory display. And it says players cannot advance to the next stage of the scenario unless Bridge of Khazad-dûm is in the victory display. It is. Let's move on. Goblin Patrol. The skeletons of dwarves and orcs lie undisturbed, but you have discovered no recent sign of the dwarven colony. The sound of scampering feet travels to your ears, and you move in that direction to investigate. There is a patrol of goblins marching in a loose formation through the shadows. When revealed, each player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for one enemy of his choice and add it to the staging area. One choice must be patrol leader if able. And what I'm going to do is I think I've discarded the patrol leader. I'd rather not. There's a lot of cards I've purposefully buried with Denethor. I don't want to shuffle the encounter deck and have to then, use his action over much. So let's look for patrol leader in the discard pile. There isn't one. Okay, so we're going to have to grab patrol leader out of the encounter deck, and then we'll have to shuffle the deck. So he's added to the staging area. We are in questing, but he's not revealed. It says add to the staging area. And so he's not damaged by Thalon, even though we are on the quest phase. There's a forced effect that we'll ignore because we're about to just move on. If there are no enemies in play, immediately advance to the next stage of the scenario. That's not true at this point, but it's about to be. Let's travel to Sigil Mineshaft. And now we're going to have 2 enemies engaging us, getting shadow cards. Okay, so the action window after dealing shadow cards, let's look at Denethor's, uses action, I should say, to look at the top card. It's not an enemy, so I'm going to sneak attack Gandalf into play using Thalon's resource. And he is going to interplay. When he does, I can put 4 damage on a enemy. I'm going to put it on patrol leader, but it has this forced effect. Before patrol leader is dealt damage, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If the discarded card is an enemy, cancel that damage. We'll discard this card. It's not an enemy. So 4 damage means he is killed by Gandalf. And then Goblin Scout will attack for 1 against 1. But anyway, he's just taken out by Gondorian Spearman. And just a reminder, not a reminder, but I never said, each player with a threat of 25 or higher cannot optionally engage Goblin Scout. But if your threat's 37, he'll engage you. Okay, because there are no enemies in play, we just advance on past Goblin Patrol to the final stage, a way up. You have captured a member of the patrol and press the wounded goblin for information about the dwarves. It gives a nasty laugh, and with a mouthful of blood spits out, Balin can be found in the Chamber of Secrets. Sharku much. It can say no more. Okay, we have to make 12 progress. The Chamber of Records is on the 7th level of Moria. The way up is treacherous, and you are accompanied by a sense of unease and vague dread. It says heroes do not collect resources during the resource phase. So let's go to per round on Thalon. Resources will be -1. Same thing here with Eowyn. Same thing with Denethor. So they won't collect resources during the resource phase. Now when we defeat this stage, we just win the game. Gandalf comes back to our hand at the end of combat. Let's use Denethor's action. Watchful Eyes is great. Refresh next round. We're going to win the quest right here. We didn't collect resources, but Steward of Gondor can do its thing. Let's play Rivendell Minstrel. And we'll just sneak attack Gandalf in. When we do, we'll lower our threat by 5. And now we're going to quest with everybody, including Denethor. Well, we won't quest with Gondorian Spearman. We reveal Watchful Eyes. When revealed, the first player attaches Watchful Eyes to one of his heroes. It's just going to mean that at the end of combat, if that hero is exhausted, you reveal a card from the staging, from the encounter deck. But I'll just play Test of Will. moral victory. All right, we made 24 progress. If I wanted to, I could take this action and get rid of Sigil Mineshaft, but I don't need to. We're going to make 21 progress on the quest and win. So that is it. If we defeat the stage, we win the game. So that's Into the Pit. This deck works well. The things that can happen initially that aren't good is during setup, if you got Goblin Follower, you'd have to deal with it. He attacks for 3, and there's some shadow cards that could become a problem. So if you got an early Goblin Follower, you could lose. And then, there's that one card, Crumbling Ruins, I think. I think maybe we did. That was revealed during setup. We could have lost Thalon. So a few things that can happen. I guess Sudden Pitfall is another bad card, but it's a really big encounter deck, and so usually things don't work out against us. Even if we have a more difficult initial first few rounds, we can always come back from it. So you just take your time with the active location, get things set up, and you saw how it worked. Feint keeps the enemies from attacking us, and Gondorian Spearmen and Thalon just deal with them. So really fun stuff. The next scenario, 7th level, is very, very similar. In fact, our deck will look a lot like this one. Kind of annoyingly similar, but looking forward to moving on with you, and I hope you have a great day.